That's my take-home message, is find that authenticity in yourself, mix with like-minded people.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Peter Radcliffe. Previously, episode 244 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast, recorded on the 16th of October, 2016. Approximately 2 years, 8 months, 8 days, and 45 minutes ago.
Well, look, we only live once, and it's worth taking a gamble and experimenting on trying these different techniques like meditation, like emotional techniques and things like that, to really get your mind in a happy place.
Peter, it's a great pleasure to reconnect with you. What's going on in your world? Where are you in the world right now?
Oh, Angel, it's great to be with you again. It just seems like yesterday that we talked. I didn't realize it was so long ago. But yeah, time flies and life is busy. I'm a busy father with kids and doing all of that stuff. But in terms of what I'm doing for the world, there's been some, really big changes. I was previously running meditation retreats and doing yoga retreats and things like that last time. And I was just at the beginning, I may have been speaking to you about it, of an idea of transforming the world by bringing more classes, meditation classes into the world. And the exciting thing is we're now up to over 160 meditation classes around the world, all teaching meditation techniques, simple mindfulness techniques. We're teaching in hospitals, we're teaching in schools, we're teaching in community groups and sports groups. So that's the exciting thing, and that has really kept me occupied these last couple of years.
Well, congratulations. That's great news to hear. I mean, the last time we spoke, you talked about the meditation and how you slowed down just a bit because of the arrival of these 3 young children in your life. I'm glad that it's grown now tremendously.
Yeah, the life has its up moments and its down moments, and sometimes you've got to focus on certain areas of life. And definitely I was, right in the middle of looking after babies and young kids, and they're growing and maturing and starting to find their own way in the world. So it leaves me free to help others. So that's good.
So we're looking at like a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old by now, yeah? Approximately around that age, yeah?
Correct, yeah.
How has it affected them? How has... usually you hear more is caught than taught, right? So what's going on with them?
They're just growing in fairly happy, healthy kids, all the normal problems kids face. My biggest aim is to help them grow when they need it, but to provide really a great model for them to follow. I feel that the greatest thing a kid needs in their life is good role models, and someone who doesn't take life too seriously, but enjoys life, as much as possible. So when they see me passionate about helping others and teaching meditations, in fact, I even took my 11-year-old on retreat with me, on an adult's retreat. And that was a fun experience, and he, melded in really well, and the adults really quite liked his presence there. So that was a really positive experience. And then he gets to see his dad, enjoying what he's doing. So that's a pleasure for me, and it helps them grow.
Now, where's the best place for someone to connect to follow up on what you're doing?
So the website I now have is skillfulmind.net. So that is really a place for all leaders to go and find out more about meditation. There's links to classes, because we now have classes all around the world. And if people are interested in actually running a meditation group, then that's the place to head. So and then the retreat website is still basically in Australia, where I live. I didn't say that, you asked me that earlier. So I'm based in Australia, So if anyone in Australia is listening, we also have skillfulmind.com.au, which just details the retreats that we run here.
When you look back, Peter, over the last 3 years to today, to see the decisions you've made, to see that you're still operating in the mindfulness mode, do you have any regrets?
It's really hard to say regrets because there's always things you can change. But I also am a practitioner of something called neuro-linguistic programming, which is all about mindset. And one of their fundamental mindsets or views is there's no such thing as failure, there's only feedback. So if you see all the problems that have encountered in life as an opportunity to grow, and if you use them as feedback to improve the next time, then you can grow out of that. And I can definitely give you some instances where I've made some massive mistakes, which on the surface of it I would say I regret. But regret only slows us down. So I prefer to see it as feedback that I can grow from.
You meditated for 9 months in solitary. I think that was one of the biggest things where my eyes opened up when you said 9 months. Have you ever done anything like that after those 9 months?
I'm literally just now starting to get back into a little bit longer retreats. So I've done a couple of 10-day retreats, and I'm really looking forward to it. But as I was right in the middle of, rearing young kids when I last spoke, I was down to like maybe 15 minutes of meditation a day. My meditation practice really kind of, I won't say suffered, because again, that's sort of looking at it as if it was regret. I was in a period which I was okay with in my life. I'd chosen to have kids. And my meditation really almost, you shouldn't say this, but it did. It really sort of took a back seat to my kids. And I felt it as well through those years. I felt more edgy. And now that they're, the youngest one is 7. He's starting to get occupied by himself, and we're able to cope. Luckily, I've got a beautiful wife that helps me, and we sort of take it in turns. So I'll sometimes go on these retreats. And so once a year, I'm aiming to do 10-day retreats, and I hope to expand that, because that retreat for me was so mind-blowing and so life-changing that, I just know that is the path that I want to follow, and I want to do more of that as I go into the future.
Well, Peter, I want to say thank you at this particular moment. I want to say thanks for being and showing up as your own unique real self 2 years and some ago. And even today, truth is something that I'm fascinated by. And I think it's very challenging to recite or to pretend you are someone, especially when you get on the mic and have a conversation. And I'm glad to see that you've stuck through, that you set your goal to be who you are today. And of course, after the ups and downs, you're still doing what you set out to do. And I'm very proud of you. And again, I thank you, because now you're the foundation of the podcast, yeah? And I appreciate that tremendously. Appreciate you coming back out here today to have this conversation. Before you leave, my friend, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Andrew, you're doing such a great job in connecting and getting the authenticity out of people. So I hope that inspires people to really be as authentic as they can and look deep within them to find out what it is people are passionate about, and surround yourself with the people that you interview and that listen to you on this podcast and believe in that authenticity. So that's my take-home message, is find that authenticity in yourself, mix with like-minded people. And I think it's a great job that you're doing. So thanks very much for the invite again.
I appreciate you. A pleasure I treasure. Peter Radcliffe, again, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.